China. There's a report that China has told its airlines to halt deliveries of new Boeing aircraft as well as parts. Now, this is one report. It has not been confirmed by the state government, at least not in a statement yet. And when you look at it, they've got 128 named orders, hundreds more that are in the queue but have not been named to specific Chinese airlines. There's also a report China has taken delivery of 18 Boeing aircraft this year, 18 new aircraft. But the order backlog is immense out of China.
What happens when America's biggest plane maker decides America isn't worth making planes in anymore? We're about to find out, and spoiler alert, it's not pretty. Boeing's exit is leaving entire towns jobless and our military supply chain looking like Swiss cheese. I've spent weeks talking to factory workers who've built Boeing jets for generations.
Yesterday, Bloomberg News reported that Beijing had ordered Chinese airlines to halt deliveries of all Boeing aircraft. Neither Boeing nor the Chinese government have commented, but President Trump appeared to confirm the report in a social media post.
They're the biggest exporter in the U.S., and China's a really big market for them. Over the next 2 decades, they project 20% of their demand is going to come from China. Well, this is likely a big blow for them. I mean, you think about it, they've already had a really tough year with whistleblower accusations, pressure on the stock price. But this is China going after an iconic American company. You said it.
One guy told me, my grandpa built B-17s during World War II. My dad built 747s, and now I'm building my resume. Ouch. If you think this couldn't possibly affect you, stick around. Your vacation flights might soon be on planes with Made in Anywhere But America stickers. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great.
Within the last week, guys, that airlines are going to say, wait a second, I got to pay a tariff on this aircraft? Maybe I don't need it right now. You hold on to it. With regard to tariffs, that is going to catch a lot of attention. Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary, a friend of the Squawk Box crew, he told the FT today that there is every likelihood they may delay Boeing aircraft deliveries due to tariffs. Now, this is just the comments of Michael O'Leary, but this has been percolating under the surface a little bit within the airline industry that as this tariff war heats up.
Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. What's worse than losing your job? Losing your country's ability to defend itself. Boeing isn't just some company that makes planes for your grandma to visit Florida. It's America's wingman. They build the F-15 fighter jets, Apache helicopters, and those big refueling planes that keep our military in the air. Now, guess what? Those are heading overseas too.
China's government has reportedly ordered its domestic airlines to stop accepting deliveries of Boeing jets and to halt purchases of aircraft parts from the U.S. China responded with 125% tariffs on U.S. goods. Boeing has declined to comment on China's order, but according to data gatherer Aviation Flights Group, this is according to a Bloomberg News report. The move comes as, of course, trade tensions escalate between China and the U.S. Last week, the Trump administration increased tariffs on Chinese imports.
Let me paint this picture for you. The F-15X fighter jet, our newest toy to keep China and Russia from getting too frisky, will now be built by workers who might have zero loyalty to America. It's like asking your ex to hold your wallet while you go swimming. Pentagon officials are freaking out, but can't say it publicly. One told me off the record, we're screwed. How do we ensure security protocols when the factory is in a country where bribes are basically a job benefit?
When it comes to Boeing, is there any way they can offset this by exporting to other countries?
It's a possibility. There has been some interest from some of India's commercial airlines, but China just represents such a big market for them.
Well, and Boeing CEO last month just said 80% of its commercial planes are delivered outside the U.S. So yes, they manufacture domestically, but does that help if there isn't an international market for these?
Over the next 2 decades, China represented 20% of their demand when it comes to these commercial planes. So that's going to be really hard to replace.
The problems go way deeper than just building planes. Boeing funded research at 50 American universities. Those programs canceled. MIT just shut down their hypersonic flight research program because Boeing pulled $18 million in funding. That's knowledge we're not creating anymore. Meanwhile, Airbus is laughing all the way to the bank. They're already poaching Boeing's best engineers with fat paychecks and the promise of job security, a concept Boeing employees now view as mythical as unicorns. Airlines that used to buy Boeing jets are signing deals with Airbus faster than you can say economic disaster.
If they decide to expand the strategy, you could see companies that rely on China for revenue, like Disney, Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, Nike, Starbucks, the list goes on.
Wow. Do you think that China will target more American companies? And if they do, how is that going to impact the consumer here?
So this is part of the trade war playbook. This is a non-tariff tool that China can weld, and this was already a concern back. That is something when you think about the impact to the consumer. If they lose revenue in one area, well, they might raise prices in another area, and that sort of trickles down to us.
The countries where Boeing is moving aren't stupid either. They're demanding technology transfers as part of the deal. Malaysia wants Boeing's composite material tech. Vietnam wants avionics knowledge. It's like giving away the recipe to your famous secret sauce just because someone offered to rent you a kitchen. Technical schools built specifically to feed workers to Boeing are shutting down too. The Washington Aerospace Training Center is closing after 12 years. That's 200 skilled workers per year America won't have anymore. The entire education pipeline that made America the aviation leader is crumbling like a cookie in milk.
Boeing was preparing to send 10 737 MAX aircrafts to Chinese carriers in the near future.
But let's remember, I mean, Boeing has been taking it on the chin over the past year or so.
What does that mean?
Taking it on the chin, I guess, kind of getting knocked out a little bit in a fight. So look, it's not good for Boeing, and you can see investors reacted that way today. The stock was down over 2%.
This isn't just about planes. It's about America's entire innovation ecosystem being hollowed out. We're losing the knowledge, the talent, and the capability to build the things that made us a superpower. We're becoming a country that can't make our own stuff anymore. So Boeing's leaving, taking our jobs and national security with it. But here's the real kicker. We actually did this to ourselves, and the solution is gonna hurt.
Had the whistleblower issues, they've had the brand issues, so this is sort of yet another thing for them. They're an iconic American company that China is targeting here. Boeing is the biggest U.S. exporter. This is a good opportunity for them to slot in and maybe take some of that market share with China. They are responsible for the most in terms of one company exports. And then what does it mean for the U.S., for the air industry, rather, not just the U.S. one? Well, Airbus.
The Boeing disaster isn't just about planes. It's the canary choking in America's manufacturing coal mine. When we give corporations citizen rights without citizen responsibilities, this happens. Like that friend who borrows money but never pays for pizza. The real solution isn't simple. We need to rethink how we balance corporate freedom with national priorities. Maybe cheap stuff isn't worth the true cost. Maybe we should ask corporations to act like actual citizens who care about their neighborhood. Next time a politician promises to bring back American jobs with tariff magic, remember Boeing and ask yourself who's really flying this plane. Spoiler alert, not you.